Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestro, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered. Good afternoon, everybody. It is April 28th, 2025, and you are listening to Negotiating Happiness. I am your host, Adriana Fiestro, and we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. If you want to watch some of our shows on your big screen TV, you just have to go to Roku TV and type in UFO Paranormal, and there we are. Welcome. Today I've got the lovely Hasty here. Hello, Hasty. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I think we're having a little bit of lag today, everybody, so just bear with us. So grab your coffee, grab your lunch. I'm about to just introduce Hasty here again. She's been on our show before, but if you don't know who Hasty is, well, stay and listen because I've got a whole intro. So today we are going to be talking about common misconceptions, from debunking the belief that self-employed individuals can't secure A-lender mortgages to revealing the truth about property flipping startup costs. So whether you're a business owner or aspiring real estate investor, Hasty's straight talking approach and insider knowledge will transform your understanding of what's truly possible on your path to property ownership. So who is Hasty? She's an award-winning mortgage broker and financial matchmaker extraordinaire who's been turning homeownership dreams into reality for over 6 years and collecting accolades like the Rising Star, North York Community Vote, and Top Choice Awards along the way. As your go-to mortgage whisperer, Hasty has mastered the art of navigating the complex world of home financing, building powerful relationships with everyone from big 5 banks to private lenders, all to ensure Canadians get their keys to happiness and their dream homes. And even if you are not Canadian, a lot of these mortgage tips will apply as well, because I mean, the times that we live in these days, property ownership is hard. So think of Hasty as your personal financial advocate and home buying confidant, a straight talking, results driven expert who won't rest until you're holding those keys in your hands. Because in Hasty's world, everyone deserves their piece of the Canadian dream, and there's a way to make it happen. So welcome.
Thank you, Adriana. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Do you want to start us off by
after that intro, I want to call myself now for a mortgage.
Exactly. So did you want to start us off and tell us a little bit about what's new, your team, like what you're doing now in terms of your entrepreneurship journey?
Sure. Yes. I have this year. I can't believe it's only April because the amount of changes that has happened in my career, it's been absolutely crazy. And it feels like a longer. I got my broker license. I have moved offices and I have started my own team.
Cool.
Of course, I did it during the time that I thought that it's going to be a slow month, but it wasn't. So I am also like having a lot of business, and which, you know what, all of this is a great, I guess you could say, problem to have, but it's been great.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So you started off obviously on your own before or under a different umbrella, and now you've got your own team. So what's that like? What are some of the challenges that you have now, and what are some of the benefits? Like, obviously you're excited about your new team. So tell us a little bit of both.
Challenges. I feel like the challenge I have is every entrepreneur challenge, which is management, right? So trying to run your own business as well as having a team and having support that requires time. So I have time manage. One of the benefits is that one of the many benefits is that I get to now help other agents to build the career that I've built it myself, and also help them through all the hiccups, all the stuff that they have to deal with, and make sure that it's not going to be as a lonely journey for them on a lonely road, because it can get pretty lonely. It is pretty big world, and if you just don't have that support group, it can get overwhelming, right?
Okay.
There's a lot
Yeah.
learned, there's a lot to do. So, and I'm loving it. It's been great. It's really been great.
We're having some technical difficulties, guys. I'm not really sure what's happening here, but hopefully we can get this sorted.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me, Hasty?
Oh, no.
Oh, I can't hear you now. Okay. 1 second here, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Just bear with me here. This has never happened before, so I guess this is a plus. All right.
It's an opportunity to learn, to navigate through a new challenge, Adriana. Do you have my sound?
Let's see if it helps. Can you hear me? Oh, I can hear you now.
I can hear. I could hear you the whole time.
I don't know what's happening, guys. This is so weird. That's okay. Okay, so you were just telling us about your wonderful team, right?
Listen, you live and learn, right? You never had this challenge before. Now you do, and next time you know how to handle it.
It's the platform. I don't know what it is. Like, we use this platform called StreamYard. So it's the platform. I have no idea what it's doing. So it's weird, but that's okay. So that's great that now you've got your own team. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say earlier, I did get some kind of a message that they're having a technical difficulty, that they're working on it. So hopefully it won't interrupt us too much.
Yeah, hopefully not. It's just a little bit laggy. I can actually hear you a little bit behind, so it's throwing everything off. But my apologies for that, everyone. Hopefully they can figure it out fairly soon. Okay. Yeah, it's being weird. It's never done this before. So, so what are some of the things that that people are coming to you that are, I mean, obviously thinking about the current climate, like economic, political, and everything that's going on, what are some of the challenges that your clients are coming to you with? Like, what are some of the things that you're experienced in helping them with?
Right now, to be honest with you, actually, for whatever reason, my own clients are finding this market beneficial, and a lot of them that were paused going shopping. But what mostly I'm having to walk a lot of clients through is the one that already have a mortgage, and this environment is kind of getting scary for them. And so they're coming to me saying, well, I have a renewal coming up. Should I be worried? I'm on the variable now. Should I be worried? So we are, I'm helping a lot of those clients to navigate through those. which, to be honest with you, is a case by case situation, and it just depending on the client situation, we are figuring out different methods to help them out.
Right, right. So what are some of the myths that people come to you with that you're like, okay, that's just not true?
Oh my goodness. Oh, where do I start? One of the biggest myths that I have to debunk is it's self-employed people. Self-employed people think that they're just not, like, the bank don't want to deal with them, hire and all that. And depending on, their situation, there are actually a lot more ways that we can calculate a self-employed person and and their income and everything, and qualify them at banks like Scotia, TD, BMO, or any kind of lenders. And some of these self-employed people, with their finances, will help them with a longer financial plan, whatever that is. But there is actually more flexibility than employed people. Not that employed people will have a problem getting a mortgage, but with someone who's employed, their income is their income. Where with someone self-employed, there's different ways to calculate their income. There's a stated income. There is, if you're incorporated, we can use your corporation income. You can use dividend, T4, there is just so many ways to do it. So that's one of the biggest ones that I deal with, or have clients call me saying, well, I know I'm self-employed and I have to go private. And I'm like, do you know? Let's take a look.
Yeah, we don't want private if we can just qualify for the big lenders, right? Like the big common lenders, because it just means more money in our pocket, better rates typically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, start from your best and then see if you can go there, and then we'll figure out the next step.
Right. That makes sense. What are some of the other myths? What else do people come to you with?
So another myth that I've deal with a lot is it's credit bureau. It's the credit bureau. Whenever, yeah, it's my favorite one, because whenever I qualify a client, I let them know, I'm like, okay, well, we have to take a look at your credit bureau. And they're like, immediately, they're like, ooh, do we have to like pull it? Because I don't want to lose points on it. And I'm like, you actually won't, like maybe like a point or two, but as long as you pay everything on time, you're fine. Where you lose point is that if you have to open up a bunch of like store credit card, like, when you go, well, the bay is closing, but back when it was still functioning, when you go to the bay, they're always like, oh, open up our credit card and you get 25% off. When you open up too many random credit cards, it just makes you look like you're dependent on a credit card, right? But another thing I love, the myth of close credit cards that you already have, that you already use, so you can increase your credit bureau. And I sometimes get these clients, they come back, it's like, oh, I have a fantastic credit. And then I take a look at their credit. I'm like, oh, you dropped. And I'm like, well, let's talk about what you did. They're like, yeah, my cousin or my neighbor told me, like, if you're getting ready to buy a house, close all your big credit cards. When you do that, all the reports, that all the points that you have received on that, the whole history of your payment and everything, it removes and actually drops your credit bureau.
Right.
So
because they want to see you use it responsibly.
That's another that yeah, it seems like it makes sense, right? You have too many credit cards, let's close them. So I have less credit cards, so lender likes it, but then you don't realize you're also removing all the history.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, that's right. What about from I guess if you're investing, so let's say you already have a property and you wanted to purchase another property. What are some of the myths that kind of stop people from being able to do that?
Some of them, like, it depends on what kind of investment property they want to purchase. A lot of people think like, okay, well, I have to have a lot of income, which yes, you technically do. What they don't realize is like when you buy investment property, we can use the potential income of that investment property in your calculation to prove for more. A lot of people think that the only way they can purchase another investment is that they have to come up with a down payment through their liquid asset.
Right.
And if they want to, and a lot of people are like, oh, investment, like, I don't want to deal with tenant. There's some horror story out there. Like, again, anything has risk in it, but being a landlord is not the only way you can invest. There's also flipping, which to that, they're like, well, I need to have 25% down and a ton of a liquid asset. It's going to take so much time, and I don't, and I don't have the money all the time. I'm like, okay, what if you could do a flip with as little as 20%, $20,000? And you don't need to necessarily show a liquid asset. You just need to show that you have the funds.
So how would one do that?
Right? And these are the stuff like people don't know. Like they want to invest and just don't know. And one thing a lot of people do is that they start talking to, I mean, we do too, right? They start talking to everybody, their neighbors, their cousin, and everything. And you have to understand, when you talk to people who are not, it's not their profession, they're talking about their own experience or their own ideas, how you should handle your investment.
Right.
So
they're not
you would
professionals.
have, you kind of scare yourself out of it. So yes. Yeah. So I would say, like, you know what? The reality of situation is, you want a comfortable life for yourself and for your kids. You got to invest, because cash money loses its value every day.
Inflation.
Right? Real estate, as much as it has risk, is the one of the safest investment.
Mm-hmm.
So just be curious, go out there, talk to the right professional, and just give it a try.
Right.
It's not for everybody, but you don't know until you try it.
Right. So what are some of the ways that people are investing in these? I remember you and I were talking, you had done a presentation that I watched of yours, and you had presented to us a bunch of options of how to do that. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Sure. One of the ways you can invest is actually using your primary home equity line of credit for the down payment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two benefits for that. First of all, right? You can invest your cash somewhere else, which actually, that's how wealthy get wealthy. They borrow other people's money and they invest. But also now you make a portion of your mortgage a tax deduction.
Right.
Which, as you know, you can your primary home mortgage rate is not tax deductible, but because you just use it for investment, that portion just becomes tax deductible. And as you putting more money into your mortgage and that line of credit grows, you can just keep doing that.
Right.
And another way is that the program that I've just told you, if you want to do a flip, you don't have a lot of money, or you don't want to lock all your money into one project, you want to do multiple projects, there's a program that you can put $20,000 down, and you can use basically any kind of fund for the actual project, right?
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah. So what would you say for somebody, like what if they're an entrepreneur, so they already have some debt, right, from their business, but they have an asset already, which is their home. Like how would they be able to invest? Oh, I think we're frozen here with Hasty. Wonder what's going on her. And can you hear me now? You were frozen there for a while. Can you hear me, Hasty?
I can hear you.
You're super frozen. I don't know what's going on.
Yes. I can hear you the whole time.
But you're frozen. Well, maybe we'll have her back. Hold on. We're just going to see if she can log back in and out. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. We're having some technical difficulties today, but I'm super excited. And this conversation is really important because there's a lot of us that are entrepreneurs and things are unsure. So we obviously, whenever we talk about, having a property or getting a mortgage, with how unsure this entrepreneurship life is, it's important to have a professional on our side that can explain all the risks and the different types of benefits that we would get from having this. And obviously everybody at one point wants to learn how to invest and make the most out of their money. This is definitely, Hasty was right, this is definitely one of the things that a lot of people do is try to get home ownership. And if it's not the first home, it could be the second home or whatever the case may be. Hasty has proven experience on working, one-on-one with entrepreneurs and their situation. I mean, a lot of the times it could be the only thing you have is an income statement from your bookkeeper or, right? Because we don't get T4s, like unless you are a corporation and you're salaried under a corporation. And then at that point, maybe you can get advice from your lawyer because is the corporation that owns your house or is it yourself, depending on what type of liability you want to look at. So there's a lot of moving parts here when you're talking about how to qualify for a mortgage and how you can make it work for you and your business. Okay, there we go. Hi, you're back.
Hi. Yeah.
Hopefully this time is better. I don't know what's going on.
Alrighty.
I was just saying to everybody how important this conversation is because I was an entrepreneur. Oh, and you're still laggy. I don't know what's going on with your internet today, Hasty. That's okay. So I was just saying how important it is to have this conversation with you because go ahead. Oh, and I think she's frozen again. Oh no. Hello? Can you hear us? Oh, I think I can hear you, but I can't see you moving.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. All right. You were frozen there for a while again.
Hopefully this time. I think it's just Monday and the internet is too tired.
Yeah, the internet just doesn't want to cooperate today. So you were telling us a bit about
right?
about how to invest using your current home and your line of credit, right, from your home, and how to safely do that. What are some of the other ways that people are investing that are, I think one of them included like flipping of a house or something like that, right?
Yes. Yes, as I was mentioning earlier, there is so many different products you can do that. Everyone thinks like if you want to flip a house, you have to spend so much money and you have to have 20% down and liquid asset. There's a program that you can put 20,000 down. It's great for someone who is starting or wants their funds to be between multiple projects. And you can use any kind of funds. Doesn't need to be liquid asset. Again, right? Most people prefer put their liquid asset in other investments to do a flip, right?
Okay.
And with this program, the lender does the most of the work for you. Like when you want to purchase a property to flip it, they do all the homework and all the research to make sure that you are earning. After you are earning money on it. Otherwise, like they're not gonna fund it because they don't want you to just go there and lose money, right?
Yeah.
But you're also putting so little down. Again, you can just go focus on the actual project and not constantly worry about the fact that, oh my God, I have to put so much money on this, and there's so much of my money is tied into it, right? You can do it multiple projects, right? If you want to basically, Adriana, the bottom line is you want to buy a house, you want to buy investment, there is a product out there. There is a program out there that you can use. And if you work with the right agent, the right team, that's a key. That's a team. Even if you cannot immediately purchase, they will put you on a financial plan for you to be able to purchase real quick.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And if you're a millennial, who just not for investment, but you want to purchase for yourself, a lot of millennials right now have their parents as a cosigner.
Right.
It's very much normal right now, right? And that is because, well, you and I are millennial. We just grew up in a completely different economy, right? So you do what you need to do to put your foot through the market. Because when you put your foot through the market, then you can just, figure out the rest of the way from there.
Yeah. There was this thing on the internet where yet another creator was doing some math of how much it was costing everybody in the 50s, and then in the 80s, and then now, relative to like wages and relative to like mortgage interest and how much houses should cost. So if it had grown the way that it had grown normally, typically a house this was done in the States, right? Like in our neighbors down south, typically a house should have cost like around $180,000, but that's not the case. Like obviously, like even up here, you can't buy anything for $180,000, even though the median wage and the interest rates are lower. It doesn't matter. Even in the 80s, when interest rates there were like 12%, it doesn't matter because the wages and the prices of the house were more in line with, so it didn't matter that the interest rate was as high. So when you do the math that way and when you compare it, no wonder why home ownership isn't something that's reachable to everybody, right? It's actually kind of crazy because and he adjusted for inflation. He did all the right things in the math, right? And it just still didn't make sense. So how could your wages have only gone up like, sometimes they would have just doubled since then, but your house prices are 18 times that of what a house cost back then. Right? So it's not as easy to figure this out on your own.
And this goes back to what I was just saying, that a cash money is losing its value a lot faster than investment, which is one of it is real estate, right? So someone back in the day had a property, now they have 18 times more than what it's worth that they bought. But if they just kept going to the same job that they just went to, now is double.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, and this is why, like, you need to get your foot into the market, right? And I know it's hard, and I know it's like it seems like out of reach, but plan it out, get the right team, because as you mentioned, it's getting more expensive every day. Like, some people are like, well, I'm just gonna come back in a couple of years. I'm like, in a couple of years, this property is gonna be like $200,000-$300,000 more. Is your income is gonna increase $200,000-$300,000 more?
No. Yeah.
Right? So you just push yourself further out of market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The right time to buy real estate was yesterday. And the next right time is today.
Like, I should have been in middle school, right? When I should have purchased my first property at this rate.
Right? Right? You know what, Adriana? As you know, a lot of parents right now, instead of putting money in RESP and stuff, they're buying a rental for their kids.
Yeah.
Because that rental is going to give them more income and more asset than any saving accounts.
Which is wild, right? Because
so if our parents bought us a rental even more in middle school.
I know, but it's wild because you used to have to do that anyway. You used to have to buy a house, then you used to have to invest in RSP, then in RESP for your kids, and then, you have life insurance. Like, you used to have to do so many things just to kind of be okay. And now you're thinking about the generation ahead and how they're not going to get to that point, right? So, like, what do you do then? But to be fair, there's a lot of countries around the world where property ownership isn't as common, right? Where a lot of people rent, but people kind of need to remember that affects the economy, that affects the way that people spend their money, and how it all kind of goes around. It's all interconnected, right? So because we're a smaller, we're large geographically, but we're a smaller population, right? For Canada, our economic system is very different. And I'd like to relate this back to how many foreign businesses tried to buy and open in Canada, like chain stores and stuff, and it didn't work out, and they had to pack it in 3 months later to leave because we just don't have the same economic system to support it. So we have to think of these things, right now our housing is crazy. And think about it for an entrepreneur type too. Like, I remember going into a client's office, and they're in one of those homes that was converted into like a commercial space, right? And do you see that a lot? Maybe. I feel like investors, like corporate investors, have taken a lot of that too and have made it happen because of also the commercial pricing of what it is. So to them, they just add like, permits to it, and then that's it. But it's crazy how the market has left. But I'm talking about housing, like enough housing to house your residents is a problem right now. So of course, buying property is going to be ever changing, and it's scary and whatever. But this is why you need professionals to advise you so that you can understand the process, so that you can understand what the risks are. You can understand that, you should have an agent, and then you should have a financial advisor, then you should have a mortgage broker. You should have all these people to work with you. And if you don't get the right person, you can make the wrong decision.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And keep in mind, like, in an average home in Toronto right now is 1.6 to 1.7 million. Where an average mortgage in Toronto is 500,000, right? Wow. So, like, where is the rest of that is coming? So what these properties are? These are the properties that have been bought like by our parents and just stayed, right? Because like, who has like what, $1.1 million just for down payment, right?
No.
And right? You're like, nah.
No.
But also, like, I love how you brought up you should have the right team to help you. That is the key. And what people just try to do it on their own. And I feel like one of the things that I'm hoping for the next generation it's kind of get fixed is the financial education. Because
Right.
Adriana, I feel like the reason a lot of people try to do it on their own or don't even try at all, don't talk to the professionals, some of them, they don't even know like all these professionals exist. Also, like a lot of people don't know, like if you go work with the mortgage broker, they have access to all lenders, but most often than not, it doesn't come out of your pocket. There is no cost to you to work with a professional that not just have the knowledge, but all the tools that they can use for you at a free of cost. Right? If you're working with a buyer agent, the realtor, not coming out of your pocket. Like you get to use all of that tool for free, right? What I also, again, goes back to educational, financial education, is that like I will hear like client, well, like that lawyer is a bit too expensive. I want to go to somewhere, someone is cheaper. Like, listen, everyone charges what they charge. But one thing I'm going to tell you is that if you're going to cut corners, hiring the right professional is not where you should be cutting corner, because that can cost you so much later on.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing that people don't understand is that these financial decisions have repercussions, right? It's not just now. It could affect you when you're selling later. It could affect you for the duration of your mortgage. It could affect you even later how you qualify for mortgages, because let's say you got in trouble not knowing what you did before, and that's going to stay with you. So it is true. Use the tools that you have, and don't cut corners on things that will affect you for forever. And you have to think of it as how much risk is involved, right? So if the risk is high, that's where you don't cut a corner. If you're just deciding on what paint to put on your walls before you sell your property, feel like you're okay. Like the risk is pretty low. Odds are the next owner is going to paint right over it anyway. This isn't about paint, right? Like this is about what it's going to be like for the next couple of years. And we've got a comment here from Melissa. It says, it costs you nothing and saves you so much hassle. It's crazy not to get professional help. It's true. But I also think that people get into this kind of bad situation where they trust the people that come forward. They don't really know them at all. They don't really have a proven track record or experience. And then they get into these arrangements with some of these professionals that don't really know what they're doing. And I think that's the risk in any industry, right? And that's how you have to set yourself apart. And that kind of goes well with our like entrepreneurship discussion about how do you set yourself apart. So for example, here with Hasty, she works with entrepreneurs. She has options and has made relations with the big 5 banks plus private lenders or other levels of lending. Like she knows where her niche is, and this is where the experience that she brings to the table. The same for me, right? Like in my business. So it not only should you get professional help, you should vet the people that are working with you, because you never know, right? And it's not to say that, I've gotten into these relationships myself where I trusted somebody and it turns out that it didn't work in my favor. And especially as an entrepreneur too, because you have that like extra level of risk where like you're not getting a paycheck or a T4 or whatever. You don't know where this next, maybe billing cycle is going to take you. You have to be careful. You have to vet the people that you're working. Ask questions, right? Ask questions, look at options, ask if there's better product out there for you. Tell the person who you're working with, this is the most important thing for me, so don't leave it off the list, right? Like, and be as forthcoming as possible. I remember you and I, Hasty, had Actually, before I get into this, I just realized we're past the half hour. So let me just do a quick intro for the station and we can continue. So if you guys are just tuning in, you are listening to Negotiating Happiness. And I'm your host, Adriana, and I'm here with Hasty. And we're talking all about mortgages today and, debunking myths around mortgages and entrepreneurs or people that want to invest. And you are listening on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And we were just continuing our conversation on Hasty and I had this conversation earlier on where, somebody's looking to qualify for a mortgage, but then they stop checking in with their mortgage provider and then they go and purchase a brand new truck right before they sign a mortgage, right? Like, don't do that because obviously that's going to affect your ability to qualify for something, right?
Yeah. Like if you are purchasing a home, any changes in your finances, anything, please check in with your mortgage broker. You just brought up a huge trauma, Adriana, for me. Like that is my biggest fear of like.
Sorry, I should have said trigger.
When I get a call from the lender on the closing day, I was like, what did my client do? Right, because I'm always like, oh no, did they like bought something? Did they like just don't? And people are like, well, like I just really needed it. I'm like, okay, but do you also really needed this mortgage? Which one did you need it the most? Right?
Yeah.
You just have to like, sometimes make sacrifices, but yes. And to your point about like, having a bad experience, okay, you had a bad experience, I understand, but don't let that stop you to go out to work with someone that is a professional, do your homework, take that experience as a learning lesson rather than like, oh no, I just don't want to work with any professional because I had that bad experience. And try to work with someone that you either know or someone that you trust knows. Right? This is why like majority of my clients come from referrals because like I prefer to work with a client that already knows someone that knows me that they can trust me. Mm-hmm. Right? Because then I know that for myself is also that trust is there. Right?
Yeah. But also just in entrepreneurship in general, right? Like I prefer having referrals from other clients too, as a service provider, because it works both ways. You have to work with this person that you're picking and that person that has picked you has to work with you. It's a two-way street, right? So not only, it's not just about providing a service. This isn't like you're selling, like you're not selling like a product and the transaction is 30 seconds. That's not it. You create a relationship. So you have to get all of these documents. You have to review them. You have to get to know them. That person on the other end for you also has to be willing and to be cooperative, right? To get the best situation. So it's not like that, when we were kids and we were playing store, one of us was like the salesperson and the other one was the customer. Like that interaction is not like that. It's not a 30-second interaction of here's your money, can I have my stuff and I'll go. It's not. We're service providers, right? So there has to be more to it. So we do prefer referrals for many reasons, right? And also think about it this way. For example, you have your own team now, you've created a different brand for yourself, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of it was because you do have return clients, because you've put in that work into the relationships and people have and bring you other referrals, right? So this is really just another valuable lesson of, if you want this to keep going, you have to push it forward, right? With the same kind of level of trust, level of authority. Like, so what makes you an authority? You are experienced and you know things about how to work with entrepreneurs, as in like not the traditional methods of qualifying somebody right away. Or you've worked with people that want to invest, and it's not just first-time buyers, it's people that want to do investment properties. So that's what makes you an authority on it. And then the trust is how you conduct your business, right? So it depends on how transparent you are with your clients, how well you answer to them, and how much information they get from you, right? So all of that just builds up to this like different brand, to kind of place you somewhere higher up on the scale of the of people, right? So when I was a paralegal, there's thousands. There are thousands. Same with mortgage brokers. There's thousands of mortgage brokers out there, right? So how do you position yourself that way is important. And this is
Exactly.
some of the way that you can do it is by showcasing your experience, right?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, one of the things I make sure that I stay away from is if I don't know something, I will be honest with you. I'm not your girl. You want a commercial mortgage? I'm not your girl. It's not a field that interests me, and I just don't know enough about it. Right.
Right.
So I will refer
But
you to
you
someone
have
that
connection.
I trust.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another part of my business. Like I made so many connections through lawyers, through other mortgage agents, realtors, even someone like Adriana. I work with a lot of self-employed people who like needs Adriana's, services, right? So
Yeah.
just having them to trust one person and not having to go after all that stuff, it's it's part of my business building, right? It's part of what I provide to my clients as a service, as an extra,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's huge. That's
That's a
huge for a lot of
benefit. That's an extra benefit, right? So even if you don't end up working with them, that's a benefit of having created this connection with you.
Exactly. And I love it because some of my clients have built such a strong relationship with me that they call me for everything. So I'm like constantly have to extend my relationship with other professionals. Like I had a call like saying, oh, I need to get a car. Do you know anyone who can do it? Car insurance? I'm like, I know like life insurance, home insurance. I guess I'll get a car insurance on my list of people
Right.
that I'm going to refer, right? But
Yeah.
it's just like, but because I build that trust right now, right? So they come to me for everything. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think it's beautiful. I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think
It
that's how it
makes
should be.
perfect sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
reflecting back on the multitude of years that you've worked on your own, what are some of the things that make it worth it for you? So it's more of like a personal question. What makes it worth it for Hasty to get up every morning and just do it all over again? Like what are you trading for that? Because the whole purpose of the show is like negotiating your freedom, negotiating your happiness. So it's like I'm putting all this work into this thing I call a business, but then I also have things like flexibility or travel or whatever the case is. So what makes it worth it for Hasty?
Wow, now we're going to deep questions, eh? Like now I feel like we are going to therapy.
This was our last
What makes
question. It's okay.
what makes it worth it for me? Honestly, other than the cliche answers, which is like, freedom of time and, all that, I see it one way is that, is the fact that it's like buying a house versus renting, right? Renting, you paying someone else's mortgage. This one, you investing in your own home. Same as this. For me, it's like what makes this worth is the fact that I'm investing in my own dream.
Right.
Right.
As an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur, right? Anything I do, every hour, every second I put into it, goes right into my own dream, right? And which makes it for me want to now help other agents to build their dream. And in terms of the actual, like a lot of people ask me, so I don't, as you know, Adriana, I have real estate background. I was a seller, property crunch. I was an office manager for a real estate agency. I know so many real estate, and everyone's like, why mortgage, not real estate? Right. And I'll tell you, because when I was there, I was upfront watching people first go buy a home, especially first time home buyer couples, go buy a home, get all excited, don't do their finances, sign a paper, go into an offer, and then realize last minute that they cannot qualify for what they thought they're going to qualify. And whatever was pushed in front of them, they had to like sign. Right. And that was really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then match this with the fact that I love strategy and numbers and math and don't like to drive and be in traffic. It just is a perfect world for me.
Right.
What
do you do? What do you do
where
in
I feel. What do I do in my free time?
Yeah.
It really depends. Sometimes I'm just boring. I like to just chill and with my partner and we just watch movies. But free times is always spent with friends, new experiences. We like arcade. It spends on family, friends, and self development and self care.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
And I say this because as an entrepreneur, I actually had to learn this. I never thought I actually have to learn self care, right?
Mm-hmm.
And self, just spending time with friends, because you become entrepreneur and you're like, as you said, like you are responsible for your next paycheck. So you just go into it so badly.
There's no break. There's no break. And then everything is like all at the same time in your head. Yeah.
So it was a learning process. Every day I'm getting better at it. There's still days that I'm like, I should be taking a break, but I really don't want to, because I really want to finish this. And because it's like such an exciting world that it can just keep being expanded. Like I started as just an agent. Now I'm a broker who has a team, and very soon I'm starting my own podcast. I do seminars. There is just so much you can keep growing, and it's exciting, and you want to grow, right?
Yes.
So you just sometimes have to remember, like, okay, you
you got
free time.
Tell us more about your podcast.
Yourself, whatever.
Yeah. Tell us more about your podcast. Yeah.
So my partner and I are starting a podcast. The first episode is coming out June 3rd. It's called, it's exciting. It's called Dio Room. So it's going to be a mixture of bringing on different type of guests and talking about, different type of exciting topics, as well as like us. We're going to be talking about different topics, but we're also going to bring up a lot of, like, as the name suggests, deal room, like a specific situations that we also have to deal with, which I think is very helpful, because people always think, oh, I'm the only one that deal with this, right? And to know, like, someone else there was a solution and how we handle it. Or sometimes like just horror stories about some of the stuff that we had to deal with. So it's going to be a combination of those, and it's going to be, I'm very excited about it. There's going to be really cool. In my career, I get to know a lot of really cool people, really cool self-employed people. It's very cool entrepreneurs. So they're going to be coming on as well and telling their story and their experiences and some of their horror story that they had to deal with. So yeah, but it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a lot different from yours. Yours is just so nice and clean and organized, where my partner and I kind of we just take on the wave. That's
okay. We have entertaining.
Yes, we have recorded on a few episodes, and it just goes anywhere we want it to. I'm like, okay, that is, I guess that's how our podcast is.
That's okay. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're at the end here.
So, okay, I just wanted to also apologize to your audience. I know you're hearing a background bark. I have a teacup chihuahua who's extremely jealous whenever I get on a Zoom call, and she just tried to get my attention. So
Killer is adorable. It's okay. Her name is Killer. She's adorable.
Thanks.
It's all good. I knew who that was the moment I heard. It's okay. It's okay. We're animal people. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, you were saying?
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, I mean, this is the world we live in, right? After pandemic, certain things got normal, and she's a chihuahua. There's only so much controlling I can do.
I know. They have a really big personality, that's for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
So thank you so much for coming on and for sharing all this valuable information. We hope to see you back on soon. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you for the comments and for the hellos. And thank you to the platform at the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans. And thanks everybody. We will see you next week.